Blessed be all of my Aries people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for you all, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below so we can look at your personal questions and your personal chart. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when all my other videos come out on this channel. So what is going on when it comes to your April as an overview? Well, the first half of the month, we've got a radical shift in just how the world kind of feels, with Neptune newly moved into your sign and the sun bringing in a great deal of world shifts and revelations for a lot of major trajectory changes for you, especially around a lot of personal goals, personal ambitions, and your personal path. Things that you primarily focus on or are working for or trying to accomplish yourself, regardless of what's going on with other people. And this is opening up a lot of really important resources and opportunities for you that are helping you to break out of long, stuck cycles, things that you've been in for a very long time, as well as also even flow away from things that have been maybe keeping you stuck or going in circles, where now you are getting a chance to kind of have the world open up to you. And this is also going to be amplified, I think, by the fact that Mars in Cancer is also going to be harmoniously counterbalancing Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces. And that's because these two, when they're retrograde for you, especially in Pisces, your 12th house of the past, old business, things that tie you to, your road up until this point, there can be a lot of obstacles when it comes to making clean breaks in one's life. Mars is going to actually be doing a lot of work, bringing in all kinds of creature comforts, support, and backup, especially around matters of the household, family, home economy, and material comforts that you might need in order to close up stalled or stuck business, or get out of any kind of situation that would be keeping your life in circles or in some kind of holding pattern. Mercury and Venus retrograde will still be Mercury and Venus retrograde the first half of this month, so you might still be dealing with situations and people that are kind of delaying important transitions or delaying important ends or delaying important clearances, or again, trying to hold on to cords and ties and old business that really are just proving to be trapping or stirring up more stuckness or volatility. But luckily, Mars counterbalancing this is also going to be giving you a chance to entertain alternatives to what you've been working with here. And again, bringing in also more material comfort, more clean breaks, as well as even more money to you in order to make those breaks in a smooth way. Mercury and Venus will be turning direct this month, which will allow for clearer days, but during that period, this is also going to be a time where Mercury and Venus, once they turn direct, are going to be a little bit more focused on moving out stalled business or roadblocks from your life. Mid-month, we've got a full moon in Libra, which is taking place in your partnership sector, so closest one-on-one connections, the boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, and joint ventures and joint journeys. And with a full moon here, this is all about culminations, transitions, and chapter changes taking place as we go into the second half of the month. Now, this could indicate some kind of big break or, again, the end of an era around at least one-on-one connection or important personal connection. This could indicate a big graduation, a big transition, or maybe even the change of some kind of status, or maybe the change of a direction away from maybe a road or a plan or an agenda that we had before. This can also indicate the closing up of some kind of stage or some kind of normal that has been a pretty consistent part of the status quo in your personal life. And over the course of the 2 weeks following the full moon, what is coming in to kind of, again, reshape the scenery, reshape the landscape around important connections and important partnerships and what makes them up is going to become a lot more clear. The second half of the month, we've got Mars moving into Leo, which is going to be bringing in a lot more accelerated power, passion, and support to your personal life as well, helping to knock down walls or break down any kind of obstacles to being able to have or realize the kind of relationship dynamics that you want to have. This can also be an important transition period where we are getting a chance to get out of maybe some older issues or older problems or dark clouds that have maybe been keeping a creative enterprise or a personal business in a place where it's been hampered or stalled out. Mars is all about breaking and clearing obstacles after all, but we also see Mars breaking up an opportunity to start maybe shaking things up where they need to be shook up, whether it's attracting new partnerships, new collaborations, new support, new friends into your life, bringing in a new spice of life to your personal life, really giving things a bit of a nice warmth, but also bringing in a lot more courage and a lot more boldness to new adventures. Mercury and Venus will be entering your sign the second half of the month as well. And this is going to be a period where a lot of your personal plans, personal goals, personal projects are starting to also accelerate in their maturity. Mercury and Venus are also turning you into a bit of a popularity magnet, a bit of a love magnet, as well as a generosity and favor magnet. So you might also notice the second half of the month, you're kind of the first name on everybody's lips. You're going through a bit of a rise to power or getting a claim to fame. This is both going to be affecting your personal life and your professional life, and there could even be some easy money in all of this for you, which is only compounded by the sun and a new moon moving on up into the sign of Taurus at the very end of the month in your second house of income, employment, and security. And when we have these two together here, it's likely that as we close up April and go into early May, some kind of really special new beginning, commitment, or fresh start is going to start putting some more money in your pocket, whether this is a new professional road opening up, or maybe even a new job opportunity, a new role, or some kind of new source of revenue that is going to be committing to you. So that is what I've got for your April, Aries. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, head on over to my website, integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Taurus people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, you want to know when other videos on this channel will be coming out. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, the first half of the month, we've got Neptune and the sun newly moved into Aries. And Neptune is going to be making some major overhauls to each and all of our worlds. And for you, a big focus is going to be on world shifts and revelations for major turns around old plans, old goals, old dreams, and old wishes from your history that maybe you've not necessarily been able to realize. And this could be a weird time warp kind of month for you because you're getting a chance to reconnect with things that maybe you wish you could have accomplished, or maybe even eras or chapters of your life that you would like to still integrate into your world or onto your path in some way. With Neptune being here, this could also be a time where a lot of old aspects of yourself start to come back to life, and the sun is really nurturing that. But it's also bringing back a lot of old goodies, old benefits, and maybe even some old money as well, or old opportunities, old friendships, and old connections. We will also have Mars in Cancer counterbalancing the Venus and Mercury retrograde experience, as they are still retrograde in Pisces the first half of the month. And this is a really good counterbalance because a lot of you Taurus people may be finding that you're kind of caught between, communities, or caught between a feeling of where do I, who do I trust, who do I work with, who's a friend, who's a foe, who's legit, who's not, who's real, who's fake. And Mars in Cancer is really helping you out when it comes to your network, your support system, by helping to clear out and eliminate a lot of troublemakers that maybe have or have not been getting revealed as it relates to your social and personal and professional contacts. And you might even find a lot of important hookups coming your way to help you open or unlock doors that have been jammed shut in your world, whether this has to do with helping you find things that you're looking for, helping you to maybe clear or hurdle some kind of obstruction or obstacle that's been kind of a constant problem, or even giving you an opportunity to start attracting and building new friendships and a new strong sense of community away from what you've become accustomed to in situations where it's become problematic. Mercury and Venus retrograde can be difficult here because, well, what can sometimes happen is that when they work together, there's this combination of stuckness and volatility. And so you might not be finding a lot of good help, good connections, or, again, even good, strong relationships in your life when it comes to whether it's for professional reasons, platonic connections, just the guys, the girls, or even, your personal relationships in general. But Mars is helping to not only bring in the right people to help you see these things through, but also counterbalance problems by the bad. This will start to fix up a little bit as we go into mid-month. Mercury and Venus will both be turning direct, but it will be kind of a weird mid-month because there's also going to be a big theme of clearing out a lot of stalled business, stalled connections, and the people responsible for stalled business and stalled connections throughout mid-month as well. Mid-month, we also have a full moon in Libra, which is your 6th house of work, reputation, and schedule. Anything relating to the communities that you serve, how you're valued, how you're compensated, and also your service to your community. And this full moon is indicating an important culmination, transition, or chapter change going on that's allowing you to change lanes into a space or maybe onto a way that is going to take better care of you both financially and professionally. This could also change your reputation in your community because of some other environmental shifts going on around, and your routine is going to get shook up quite a bit in the second half of the month. But it is all about polishing this new lane that you're going to be changing into in a way that's very good for you. The second half of the month, Mars will be moving on into Leo, where he is going to be bringing a lot of opportunities for accelerated growth, progress, and even problem solving around household, family, and home economic concerns. Mars in this part of your chart for the second half of April and even going on into early May is helping to bring an end to issues that maybe have been pretty constant around family or home economic concerns, while also bringing in some very good news around the resource talk when it comes to maybe family or household money. However, with Mars in the 4th house, I do want you to be careful. Sometimes this can also stir up some family dramas. And, because not everybody handles intense astrology energy with grace or dignity. I think we all know that. We also have Mercury and Venus moving on into Aries. And this is going to be a very sweet period the second half of the month because, again, this idea of reconnections with things from the past that could actually be really good fits for you in the present. A lot of important reunions are likely going to be going on in the second half of the month, and possibly some opportunities for you to benefit from some secrets or some shortcuts that are being shared with you in spaces where it's not really meant for everybody to know, but it's an enormous benefit for you to be involved in. And finally, we have a beautiful new moon in Taurus following the sun entering Taurus on the second half of the month, just as we close up April. And so new moons and the sun in our sign, as it will be for you, is all about you getting a chance to have a brilliant new beginning, fresh start, or new commitment that is going to help take a personal project, personal ambition, or personal goal live. Something that maybe has been on the drawing board, something that's been in your imagination, something that's been kind of more of a wish versus a reality. Well, guess what? As we go through the second half of the month and into early May, the pieces will be there to put it together. So that is what we've got for your April Taurus. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, head on over to my website, integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Gemini people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me where we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions, head on over to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when all of my other stuff comes out on this channel. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, the first half of the month, we've got Neptune newly arrived in Aries, as well as the Sun in Aries, working together to bring some very important world shifts and revelations to your friendships, your social life, your community, your support system. And this is actually really world shifting for you because Neptune going into this part of your chart is giving you a chance to have the dream friendships, so the dream community, the dream relationships come real or come alive. Some of you may have already been experiencing this to a certain extent as we closed up March, but with Neptune and the Sun together here, you may also be noticing that you can get by with a little help from your friends because a lot of important transformations to your social circles and to your most important connections are also affording you some major trajectory changes when it comes to getting out of some long, stuck, or let's just say over but not gone life cycles, whether this is affecting your personal life, your home life, your work life, your financial life, it does not matter. And when we have Neptune and the Sun working together in the 11th house, this is also a time where a lot of treasured lofty ambitions, goals, and dreams, even the fanciful childhood stuff, have a chance to come true. We also have Mars in Cancer forming a very important counterbalancing effect to Mercury and Venus, which will still be both retrograde in Pisces. And so for you, this is beginning a very important period where your financial life, your professional life, and your career are starting to completely change roads. Mars is counterbalancing a lot of stuckness, a lot of volatility, and a lot of trapping scenarios or trapping arrangements around money and work and clientele and career business that Mercury and Venus retrograde have probably been guilty for since about February. And that is because Mercury and Venus retrograde, they tend to bring stuckness and obstacles and volatility. Mars, however, counterbalancing these two is actually bringing closer resources, opportunities, and allies to give you alternative roads or alternative wins to not only get away from those kinds of situations or finally escape them, but also at the same time get away from their sources for good and even do some important turnovers that have been long delayed around career and financial matters. Mercury and Venus will be turning direct as we go closer to mid-month, which will allow for clearer days, but they will mostly be focusing on, again, the cleaning up of a lot of stalled out and volatile business that may have kicked up around financial and professional matters this last month and a half. Mid-month, we've got a full moon in Libra, which is creating a very strong wave of culminations, transitions, and chapter changes around your personal life, your romantic life, creative and personal enterprises, and any kind of situation where you would be delving into a deep or invested emotional connection or some kind of important tie. Now, a full moon here can indicate a graduation moment in an important connection or an important relationship, something that is jumping up a status. This could also indicate the closing of a stage or leveling out of a status that you have been in. However, with a full moon here, there could also be the closure of some kind of old plan or some kind of old agenda from the past as it relates to the present as well. During a full moon window period, which is covering pretty much the second 2 weeks of April, you're going to want to make sure that you are leaning into the changes that are happening versus maybe getting stalled up or caught up in the process of those changes as they occur. The second half of the month, we've got Mars moving on into Leo. And this is going to be a great turnkey kind of moment for you because Mars going into this part of your chart is also going to be helping you to break through a lot of walls that maybe have been put up between you and being able to work in the spaces or with the people or on the projects or on the assignments that you want to the most, whether this has to do with a job or an employment situation, a personal ambition, or maybe something you would like to change about your network, contracts, and commitments. Mars going into this part of your chart as well is going to be coming in and just destroying a lot of contracts, agreements, and commitments that are proving to be inimical, we'll put it that way, to your best interests or to things that are continuing to hold you maybe in an era or a space in your life that you are overdue for a transition from yourself. Mars in this part of your chart can also bring closer valuable people or valuable resources to be handed off, shared with, or exchanged with you in order to facilitate these big wins as we go through the second half of April and on into early May. Mercury and Venus will both be entering Aries as well in the second half of the month. And this is a time where a lot of accelerated developments with plans, as well as accelerated progress with any kind of group work, joint projects, teamwork, and friendships are going to be basically the stars of the show of the end of April and the beginning of May. Now, with Mercury here, this is also a time where a lot of you could be getting yourself on the road, either digitally or physically, with a lot of important moves, a lot of fun activity, a lot of growth spurts in your social and professional life. And Venus is bringing more fun, love, and adventure into your personal life. And this could also be a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to maybe find love or explore some kind of new relationship story, relationship opportunity through a friend or through a friendship circle, as well as even bringing more ambition or more fun or wildness into your love life just in general. And finally, we've got the sun in Taurus and a new moon in Taurus as we close up April and go into May. And this is a beautiful resurrection opportunity, especially when it comes to new beginnings, commitments, and fresh starts for things in your life that maybe once upon a time you wish you could have done or kept or achieved in the past. This can be especially beautiful, especially when it comes to things where maybe we had to sideline or close up, abandon or bury or drop something that we wish we didn't have to, or relegate or compartmentalize or push away something that we wish we could have had more as a constant or out in the open or a part of our world scenery. And whatever the case is, as we go into the end of April, beginning of May, the new moon and the sun in Taurus will be affording the resources and the means to make it so. So that is what we've got for you, Gemini, and your April. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Cancerian people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, so that way you know exactly when other videos on this channel will be coming out. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, the first half of the month, we've got Neptune newly moved into Aries, as well as the sun in Aries. And this is bringing in some very strong and very fluid world shifts and revelations for major trajectory changes from long-term cycles, holding patterns, and stuck conditions around career and financial matters in your life. These two together for you is actually a really, really good combination, because if you've been feeling maybe limited in terms of your options, or maybe the world, the atmosphere, the environment, or the just sort of the feel of your vocation or where you work has been maybe working against you, this is going to be helping things open up new flows of money, but also even important rivers and important flows to carry you to maybe better spaces internally and externally. Neptune and the sun working together illuminate things that need to be shown to us, but also afford us the opportunity to go through some major good breaks. And I think honestly for yourself, what can probably happen here is that you might notice the first half of April, what makes up your world in terms of your job, the way things are running, the way the people are carrying on, as well as even business or the market in general is operating, is starting to warp a little bit, but also in a way that's going to be opening doors that you didn't know were available to you, or doors that were maybe locked to you in the past. We also have Mars in your sign, forming some very important counterbalancing influences against Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces. And so this is a time where a lot of situations where you have been stuck in a bubble or stuck on any kind of attachments, routines, or environmental influences, whether it has to do with your personal life, whether it has to do with your professional life, or maybe even your own attachment and routine dependencies, are starting to get negated, starting to get counterbalanced and offset with new opportunities and new resources to help move you out of a space or out of a situation or out of a stage of life that maybe has been keeping you from turning over something you need to turn over. Something that won't go away, something that we need to release, something that we need to release ourselves from. This can also indicate something that is allowing for you to maybe reverse or undo something that was done in the past that is holding too much negative influence over the present. And this could have to do with maybe old contracts, old agreements, old associations, or old plans or old commitments from the past that could still have an influence over the present in whatever way. Mercury and Venus will be turning direct mid-month, which will relent on whatever the stuckness or the volatility is, because Venus and Mercury retrograde tend to create stalls and stuckness and volatility and drama. So when they go direct, a lot of that's going to dim down, which is very, very good, and will allow for clearer days. But you are going to be spending a lot of the first half of April kind of moving out, moving on, and even exploring alternative paths to some stalled business. You might need to also be ready, however, to shift the goalpost a little bit when it comes to a lot of your plans, because you're going to be needing to entertain things that you hadn't considered that may even be better than what you were trying to set up for yourself. Mid-month, we've got a full moon in Libra, which is bringing in culminations, transitions, and chapter changes to your fourth house of home, family, living situation, and home economy. And this can be a really good full moon, especially for a lot of you who have been looking to maybe get out of some kind of stuck or trapped up or, again, slow moving family business, residential business, and even help to clear some kind of challenge around a home economy concern or block. This full moon could also indicate an important level up in a family relationship or some kind of important development that is helping to close up an old era and make room for something fresh, something clear, something bright, and something very supportive to you, your home economy, and family relationships as a whole. And that is a big part of the second half of this month as well. We also have Mars entering Leo in the second half of the month, which is really amping up activity in your income sector. And a lot of you guys are probably going to find yourselves burning the candle at both ends, but also making some serious competitive gains when it comes to money, as well as also rising up in the ranks when it comes to your job and employment circumstances, whether this is stepping into something brand new or maybe breaking some kind of glass ceiling or some kind of wall or obstacle around your earning power. Mars is also going to be presenting a lot of competitive opportunities to show your stuff, throw your weight around, and also make a new name for yourself where it matters. We also have Mercury and Venus entering Aries after turning direct mid-month, and this is going to also be helping you rise up in your field. In fact, with Mercury and Venus together in your 10th house of career and upward mobility, your name is going to be going through a bit of a 15 minutes of fame experience. And a lot of you could be noticing that not only are you rising up in the ranks of your peers and colleagues, but you are also getting a lot of favorable treatment from authority figures, easy money, easy work opportunities, and even accelerated development towards some kind of rise in your status, your rank, and your station. And that's also going to be a big vibe of May 2025. We close up the month with the sun in Taurus, followed by a new moon in Taurus as well, bringing a lot of important new commitments, fresh starts, and new beginnings to your friendship and community sector. And for a lot of you, this could indicate the beginnings of maybe a new important friendship, or maybe even a new layout to a friendship circle, community, or support system that's going to give you a new sense of feeling at home in the world as we close up April and go into May as well. So that is what I've got for your April Cancerian people. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Selene, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all my Leo people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me where we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions, head on over to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or follow the links in the down bar below. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe, because you want to know when all my other videos come out on this channel. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, at the start of the month, first half of the month, we've got Neptune newly moved into Aries, as well as the sun in Aries, creating some very powerful world shifts and revelations for everybody. And for you, this really is kind of like on a world level, so to speak, because these are both going hard at work in your ninth house of expansion, of growth, of elevation, big moves, big travel opportunities, and opening up the world for you, both in your personal life and in your vocation. And so throughout the course of the first half of April, but even just the rest of 2025, you're going to be noticing a lot of very important waves getting made in all kinds of different environments and agreements that you have to get you out of a bubble, a space, or a station that you have lingered in, a normal that has become stale. And this is a time where some of you could be getting lifted up, lifted out, getting discovered by all kinds of important people and opportunities to help dislodge you from spaces and corners of your life that you have become stuck in. Whether you liked being stuck or not, it's important to open up to what is being afforded to you by these two here. This could also indicate some very powerful transformations or shifts around important contracts and agreements to give you more freedom with things, both on a career level and even in your personal life, your personal goals and ambitions. And you're just going to see that the structure, what's actually holding your world up, is completely morphing into something brand new. Beautiful, big, and expansive, but also something you're going to have to adjust to. We also have Mars in Cancer forming a really nice counterbalance to Mercury and Venus retrograde, which will be still retrograde in Pisces for the first half of this month. And Mars is really going hard on eliminating things that are stuck to you, whether these are old burdens, old business, old obligations, old debts, old attachments, things that have basically been keeping you in a space where you are bound up in the stories of other people, or anything that's creating an expense, a blockage, or preventing forward movement, especially when it comes to things that involve shared resources, shared responsibilities, debts, investments, and income. This can also be a really cool counterbalancing effect where a lot of you are going to be noticing alternative opportunities, alternative support, and alternative resources to what you haven't been able to make work for you with what you have. And again, kind of like Neptune and the Sun, this is affecting both your social life and your personal life and your professional and financial lives at the same time. Mercury and Venus retrograde can be very problematic because they tend to create issues of stuckness and volatility, or volatile stuckness when it comes to handling any kind of business with other people, lack of cooperation, laziness, or attachment crap. And luckily with Mars, it's kind of like you're getting a chance to move on and move through and break out because of not only alternatives, but also things that are coming into counterbalance what, again, has become trapping, oppressive, or, again, closing in around these situations of your life. Mercury and Venus will be turning direct mid-month, which will allow for clearer days, while a lot of the stalled, slowed down, stuck, or over-attached business is washed away. But it is going to be Mars that is sort of the hero of the story the first half of the month. Mid-month, we've got a very important full moon in Libra, which is going to be bringing culminations, transitions, and chapter changes to some kind of contract, agreement, or binding commitment that you have been wrapped up in, whether it was something that was pushed on you, or something that you played a part in yourself, or something that came up out of an environmental influence. And this full moon is basically all about cutting cords and cutting ties and unlocking padlocks that have been more problematic than secure. A full moon in this part of your chart can also indicate some kind of very important breakthrough that's going to be afforded to you through the help of a friend, an ally, or a colleague. This could be an important handoff, hookup, connection, or go-between favor that is going to light up the second half of your April. The second half of your April, we also have Mars moving into your sign, where he's going to be for the end of April and well through May. And with Mars in your sign, this is a time where a lot of your personal goals, personal wishes, personal ambitions, your personal journey, right, irrespective of what's going on with other people, is taking priority. Things that you can and wish you could do by yourself, with yourself, for yourself, regardless of what's happening with partners, the job, family, all of that kind of stuff, really getting lifted up. This is also a great time for personal projects, personal business, anything where you're handling maybe personal income, because Mars is bringing more passion, drive, support, and even champions to your cause to help you with something that you are trying to get some important liftoff with, but haven't been able to find the right time, the right means, or the right support to make happen with regards to, again, a personal ambition or goal. And that's a huge part of, again, not only the second half of April, but also May. Mercury and Venus will re-enter Aries in the second half of April, and your personal life is becoming a lot more wild, a lot more exotic, a lot more experimental, and a lot more outgoing. This is a beautiful period, especially when it comes to breaking the mold, when it comes to relationship models, how we've been carrying on as a couple, bringing a bit more experimentation and wildness into the bedroom. And for those of you who are single or are available to new people, it may be that there is somebody that you get a chance to meet that is definitely outside of what you could consider the run-of-the-mill type you normally go for. That could be quite titillating, quite exciting. This is also a wonderful period for any kind of expansive work around, maybe introducing more adventure, more travel, or maybe even more spirituality, more deep connections in personal relationships. And the second half of April is just all about it for you. Finally, we've got the Sun and a new moon in Taurus turning on your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, and promotions. And this is where a lot of you are going to be getting some kind of very important fresh start initiated or put on the table with a career or financial matter as we close up April and go into May. Something that's going to put you a cut above what you've come to expect. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, head on over to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Virgo people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can head on over to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or follow the links in the down bar below where we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions. And don't forget to like and subscribe as well, because you want to know when my other videos come out on this channel. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, the first half of the month, we've got this very important shift going on with Neptune newly arrived in Aries, as well as the Sun in Aries. And there are going to be some very important world shifts and revelations going on regarding bonus income opportunities, shared responsibilities, and anything where your personal investments, personal business, or any kind of monies that you are handling outside of an hourly or salary income are starting to transform. And this can actually be a really powerful turn where a lot of you are also getting a chance to explore opportunities for wealth that are outside of what could be considered cookie cutter or the norm. This is also a time where a lot of personal goals, personal and investments, and personal ambitions are starting to transform because of opportunities to share in the journeys of other people. And you're also going to notice that with the Sun and Neptune together here, there could be a lot of important trajectory changes also getting put on the table for you professionally that are going to get you out of a life cycle or out of a mainstay story that maybe you're overdue to graduate from. This is likely going to be happening because of environmental changes around you, but also things coming to kind of connect with you, right? With the 8th house, we're talking about sharing in the stories and the journeys of others and things that could actually bring a lot of joy, not only into your life, but whoever you are collaborating with, connecting with, and committing to. And this is also a time where you may be noticing this going on with partners, business partners, and romantic partners as well, lifting everybody up at the same time. We also have Mars in Cancer forming a very welcome and overdue counterbalance effect to Mercury and Venus retrograde as they are in Pisces. Now, Mars is all about, at this point in time, kind of giving you outs, giving you support, giving you protection in situations where stuckness or volatility or problems stirred up by Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde have been making issues in important friendships, important agreements, joint ventures, or even your social life in general. And with Mars here, there could even be some opportunities for you to explore alternative paths to important maybe roads or maybe important wins that you've not been getting afforded because of some of the setups you've been working with friends or with colleagues or even with partners or business partners. This is also a time where issues or dark clouds that maybe have been getting stirred up by Mercury and Venus retrograde that have been maybe creating stalls or problems when it comes to partnerships or partnership goals, again, business or personal, are also going to be challenged more directly by that Mars influence and likely clearing a road for you to attain something that has been constantly blocked. We also have Venus and Mercury turning direct mid-month, which will allow for clearer days in this matter. But you are going to have to also watch as some stalled out business gets moved away. Mars in Cancer is also going to be kind of operating as a cleanup crew, especially when it comes to getting rid of a lot of unpleasant interference in your social life and unpleasant interference in your professional and financial life. But it may be a weird month because you're also going to have to look and see the full side of the story when it comes to maybe people that you did or did not know were actively going out of their way to work against you or simply hold on to an old plan or an old agenda at the expense of others. We also have this full moon in Libra in your 2nd house of income and employment, which is bringing some kind of important culmination, transition, or chapter change, pretty much dominating the 2nd half of April. And for a lot of you, this could indicate a chance to make a clean break with some kind of professional road, employment situation, or financial situation to greener pastures. Whether this is something that you want to do internally, like a transfer or a different role or maybe a different financial arrangement, or something that is just putting you in a brand new space altogether. This could also indicate an important wrap-up of an era as it relates to a professional career or financial matter. But whatever the case is, over the course of the 2nd half of April, it's something that will feel like it's long overdue and bringing in a big, happy exhale and new breath of fresh air. And finally, for the 2nd half of the month, we've got Mars moving on into Leo, which is going to be helping you to reconnect with things that maybe are valuable assets, resources, money, or even people that you've maybe not been able to engage or to connect with or work with in the way that they can actually work for you. A lot of the times when Mars goes into the 12th house, which is where he will be, you will be getting a chance to solve and break out of a lot of problems or issues or roadblocks or burdens that have kind of just been stuck on you for a long time, throughout the course of your history. But with Mars, it's because you are also getting valuable allies and valuable tools to not only take those situations on and deal with them in the proper way, but also raising up some important friendships and some important link-ups. Mars here can also be really, really good for a lot of you looking to maybe get more out of something that's been kept small or kept stifled or kept stymied. Mercury and Venus will be entering Aries as well the second half of the month, and this is going to be bringing in a little bit more carnal pleasure into your personal life, because Mercury and Venus here is all about getting a chance to open up for some good vulnerability and some good intimacy, and you might be noticing things are becoming quite sensuous and quite hot in the bedroom. But this is also going to be something that helps bring some kind of new depth of vulnerability and closeness into your life, whether it's in, delving into a deeper level of intimacy and vulnerability in a relationship, exploring new love languages, as well as maybe new opportunities to express those love languages, but also delving into a deeper intellectual rapport, creating a stronger exchange with partners all around, or attracting those partnership opportunities to enjoy that experience. And it's not just for the second half of April, it's also the first half of May. And finally, we've got the Sun in Taurus and a new moon in Taurus turning on your 9th house of expansion, growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, prominence. And this is a time where the world is again opening up for you Virgo people. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you decided that you were going to answer this wild hair with some kind of big move, big travel opportunity, promotion, or something that's going to make a new name for yourself in the world. And that is a huge part of your May as well. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine. And should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Libra people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me where we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions, head on over to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that way you know when all of my other videos on this channel come out. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, April is largely dominated by Neptune's new move into Aries and the sun being in Aries at the same time. And so for you, this is bringing a really strong highlight to your 7th house of partnerships, joint ventures, and closest one-on-one connections and involvements. You've probably heard me say in the past, this is the area that governs the boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all of your, again, most involved one-on-one connections. And this combination is bringing in a great deal of world shifts and revelations that are going to be kind of changing the road a lot of your closest involved connections are on, or even the roads that bring and unite you with your best, closest one-on-one connections. Now, for a lot of you, this is a really, really good thing because this is opening the floodgates for things to finally start moving and developing where they've been stalled out, blocked up, or simply been operating under the wrong conditions. This can be great for bringing in more money and more comforts into partnerships, business partnerships, and even romantic partnerships, joint finance matters, but also at the same time, bringing in a deeper element of spirituality, of intellectualism, of a closer, stronger, and deeper rapport with all of your most important people. This can also break out a lot of partnerships or maybe even individuals from long-standing cycles, long-standing trajectories that really do need to go or change or evolve away, especially when it comes to the problem being maybe what makes a certain thing tick. And this is also going to, again, maybe take a lot of important partnerships and a lot of Libras on some important partnership adventures, not just for this month, but also throughout the rest of 2025. We also have Mars in Cancer forming a beautiful counterbalance to Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces. And for a lot of you, this is going to be a month where important work and career matters are starting to switch to be more favorable to you, whereas maybe in recent history, Venus and Mercury retrograde, stuckness and volatility have been creating problems with work, problems with money, problems with colleagues, problems with bosses. And Mars in the 10th house for you, which is where he's going to be, especially for the first half of the month, is helping you to get closer to better people, better opportunities, and also more lucrative sources of income. A lot of the times with Mars in this part of the chart, we are seeing alternatives to what we have to work with start to turn on, both internally and externally. And you could be finding yourself kind of switching roads or switching tracks when it comes to your role, your position, your title, the people you work with, and the people you work for. But this is a very good counterbalance, especially against a lot of things that may have been thrown off or have been off for a while. Mercury and Venus retrograde can be problematic when they're together because they tend to create both stuckness and volatility at the same time. And so what can often happen is there's too much tension, there's too much ick, I guess you could say, for progress, for profit, or for forward movement. But with Mars now being the counterbalance, whether it's about moving out and away from situations like that, or simply getting through, over, and maybe hurdling them, this is what this month is going to be largely all about. Venus and Mercury will be turning direct closer to mid-month, which is going to help relent a little bit the tension, the stuckness, and the volatility that may have been a persistent issue in work and financial matters, and allow for some clearer days. But it's also going to be focusing on moving and forcing out a lot of stalled business, stuck conditions, and things that have maybe been clinging to you, clinging to your workspace, your financial circumstances, your professional affairs for far too long. So also prepare for some big environmental shifts, especially when it comes to taking a huge push on getting rid of what's wrong with what makes people and situations tick. Mid-month, we've got a full moon in Libra, which is, of course, your sign. And this is all about important culminations, transitions, and chapter changes. Now, for you, this is going to be a really good full moon because the second half of the month, you're going to be getting a chance to break away, wrap up, or close something that has been either creating a stall out, a block out, or maybe even a loss or, let's just say, damaging cost in something in your life, whether it has to do with your quality of life or a personal road, a personal ambition, or anything that could be related to maybe something that you had once committed to or started before. This is actually a great moon for anyone looking to get out of something that they started, especially if there are things that you wish you could stop or take back or undo. And you're going to get a chance to, again, do a lot of that kind of work as we go through the second half of April. The second half of April is also very nice with Mars moving on into Leo, where a lot of important connections are starting to get stronger with friends and with allies. Mars in this part of your chart is really bringing in people to show up for you, to bring things into, I guess you could say, a brighter light, not only around your social life, but also areas of your life that maybe are more private, as well as areas of your life that you're used to just kind of tackling on your own. It's going to be important to be a smart Libra and let people know what's going on with you so that you can actually get the most out of this help. Because when Mars goes into Leo, our friends, well, they really do show up for us and move mountains with us. But we can't be those people that are like, I'm miserable, but all I post is happy affirmations like a freaking nut job. We got to make sure people know what's going on with us, because that way they can help us. We also have Mercury and Venus entering Aries in the second half of the month. And that is also going to be creating a beautiful turn with a lot of new partnership opportunities to open roads for us too. A lot of the times with Venus going into this part of the chart, yes, opportunities for new commitments or maybe even an evolution of existing commitments are going to be on the table. And Mercury is also speeding up progress that we're getting a chance to make towards a partnership goal that we have. And that is also carrying over into the month of May. And finally, as we close up the month of April, we've got the sun and a beautiful new moon moving on up in Taurus, which is activating some kind of opportunity for a bonus win, bonus income, or maybe even some kind of brand new source of revenue to tack onto what you have, making things all the more financially sweet. So that is what I've got for you, Libra people. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, head on over to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Scorpio people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, just go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or we can follow the links in the down bar below, so that way we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions and all that good stuff. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, the first half of the month, we've got Neptune, newly arrived in Aries, and the sun in Aries kind of dominating the vibe of April and even beyond, frankly. And for you, this is bringing in some very important opportunities for world shifts and revelations to alter a work, business, or career trajectory out of a path that you took to where you are now, onto something brighter, onto something more fulfilling, and onto something a lot more lucrative and gainful in the shorter term than maybe even what your original plans or your original guidance was leading you up for. With Neptune and the sun together here, this can also be a really, really good transit for opening up the doors for things that maybe we did not understand to reveal themselves to us, that show us where we might actually be able to be set up for a better way. Sometimes these two can also create a transformation in our reputation around our career, around our community, around our routine. And things are definitely going to be very flowy, and things are definitely going to be very unpredictable. But if you make sure not to get crazy insecure about it like a nut, you're going to have a good time. We also have Mars in Cancer counterbalancing Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces. And this is actually going to be a very powerful advantage for you, because Mars is helping to salvage, fix, or even secure some kind of big win or some kind of big accomplishment in a partnership goal or maybe some kind of business goal that is allowing you to get out of a situation that has been maybe stymied by problems that can be considered Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde oriented, especially around issues where stuckness, volatility, attachments to the past, clingy people, or oppressive situations have been kind of making progress slow around partnership goals, around family goals, around relationship goals, or anything that could be going on where maybe even blockages to money or blockages to security or blockages to maybe even a business accomplishment have been because of, again, over-involvements with the wrong people, the wrong situations, or even things that may be of the past. Mars here is about breaking blocks. It's all about bulldozing a way to success, and this could also indicate some kind of major win for a lot of you Scorpio people, especially when it comes to also giving you alternatives in terms of resources, alternatives in terms of roads, and alternatives in terms of maybe supply for things that you need for not only security and harmony and wealth in your own life, but maybe even chances to make some big moves, get out into the world, get out of your bubble, get out of your routine, get out of yourself for a little while and enjoy a bit of an adventure. And this will be good for both your professional life and your personal life. Venus and Mercury will both be turning direct mid-month, which will, of course, be a sign of their influence relenting, which is nice. But we also see an opportunity for clearer days while moving out stalled business and also moving away situations and even personalities that tend to be prone to stalling business. And so that's also going to bring some relief if that's something that you've been dealing with a lot in recent history. Mid-month, we've got a full moon in Libra, which is bringing in a lot of culminations, transitions, and chapter changes. And the second half of the month is likely going to feel like maybe some things are getting uprooted for you, but in a good way. A lot of the times with a full moon in this part of your chart, it's about clearing and eliminating things that have anchored us where we do not want to be anchored, where it's actually bad for us or unhealthy for us or costly for us, or continues to hold on to bad arrangements or foster or secure more bad. And this can sometimes feel like a bit of a breakdown, breakthrough kind of moon because sometimes, it's familiar. Sometimes it's just what we grew up with. Sometimes it's just part of the scenery. But we have to be ready to release in order to succeed. The second half of the month, Mars enters Leo, your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, promotions, and raises. And this is all about you rising up in competitive fields or into competitive opportunities to not only increase your earning power, but also your visibility and get a lot more out of the work that you are bringing to your field or to your people or to your life. Mars in this part of the chart can also indicate some kind of accelerated development around career growth or maybe even a rise up in the ranks of our company or of our vocation. But it is not just for this month. It is also something that's going to be a big part of May as well. We also have Mercury and Venus entering Aries, and this is going to be speeding up a lot of pushes or propagation of your good name. If you have been looking to maybe expand on your network, if you have been looking to maybe make a different name for yourself in terms of your professional profile, you might be finding that Mercury and Venus are having your good name get spread by others as well. Word of mouth is going to be really good for you. And with Venus and Mercury in the 6th house, you may also be noticing a transformation to the value that you're getting back for what you put out in the world. And this can also set you up for maybe some kind of important turn or maybe even a new commitment as we go through the end of this month and the beginning of May to line you up for a big level up in terms of your work and social status later on this year. And finally, we've got the Sun in Taurus and a new moon in Taurus lighting up your partnership zone at the end of the month. And this is a time where new beginnings, new commitments, and fresh starts are getting crystallized and made strong. And for a lot of you, this is going to be a period where there is likely going to be the cementing of some kind of commitment that has been trying to happen, or possibly even the level up or the opening of a new road for maybe a partnership, a close friendship, a business alliance to exceed maybe its own expectations and attain some kind of very big win as we go on into the month of May. Whatever the case is, though, new developments, new partnerships, new commitments are the name of the game as we move through this season. So that is what we've got for your astrology for April, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Sagittarius people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And that way we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions. And don't forget to like and subscribe because you want to know when all my other videos come out on this channel. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, the first half of the month is largely dominated by Neptune, newly arrived in Aries, alongside the Sun in Aries. And this is all about world shifts and revelations for major wins and even trajectory changes. And for you, this is largely taking its energy and focusing on your personal life, romantic life, but also creative business enterprises, personal business enterprises, and anything that has to do with fun, leisure activities, and even relationships with your kids. Now, when we have this kind of combination, this is a beautiful turn for you because this is bringing in more sweetness, more romance, but also at the same time expanding the world at your fingertips. And you may be finding that there is an influx of a lot of new spiritual activity, new creative stimulation, and ambition coming into all of your most important connections here. Neptune is also going to be sending out waves of crashing support in order to knock down a lot of barriers, illusions, and even stuck situations that you may or may not have known were actually working against you, bringing in more fun and more joy into these areas of your life as well. But it can be a bit unsettling in the beginning because, of course, Neptune does this with a wave. We also have Mars in Cancer forming a beautiful counterbalance to Venus and Mercury retrograde in Pisces. And this is an important counterbalance because Mars is helping you to maybe get through some kind of challenge where it's possible resources, money, or even collaboration or trustworthy people have been kind of hard to come by. Or maybe there have been some issues where stuck conditions have been keeping you trapped with working with situations or setups that are actually set up to fail, whether this has to do with your personal life, your family life, or your professional life. Mercury and Venus retrograde are largely responsible for this because as a combination, they tend to bring about both stuckness and volatility. And so you may also be dealing with the consequences of a lot of environmental influences, choices people have made, the way people handle themselves, the way people handle their own impulses, what does not work about what makes them tick, or what they are committed to. But Mars is helping to protect you from becoming collateral damage. And if you have been maybe in a space where other people's choices, their inability to function as adults, or whatever has been a problem, especially in recent history, Mars is kind of blocking out a lot of that and putting you in a much better way to kind of have your own life, but also put you in a space where you are substituting a lot of those situations with better people, better resources, and even getting a chance to clear away a lot of things that maybe have been dumped on you because of other people and what they are and what makes them tick. Venus and Mercury will be turning direct mid-month, which will allow for things to be a little bit clearer, a bit more eased off. And you're also going to notice a lot of stalled out business around family, home economy, and residential situations also start to go through a bit of a fix or a bit of a remediation period, especially when it comes to home and family business maybe being the problem, or maybe home economy challenges stalling out or creating problems for us in some way. Once Venus and Mercury turn direct, we're going to see a lot of those burdens and a lot of that clutter clear. Mid-month, we've got a full moon in Libra, creating a lot of culminations, transitions, and chapter changes in your social life. And it's very possible that a lot of you are getting ready to migrate away from a lot of groups or a lot of conditions where it's possible you did not know who your friends really were. And it could also indicate, however, a beautiful ending and new beginning where you're getting a chance, especially in the second half of the month, to start planting new roots or delving into important relationships and connections with people that really do feel like the optimal community, whether this is something that's going to be taking good care of you on the personal front, whether it's just for fun or for business, it does not matter. A full moon, however, in this part of our chart can be a bit personally challenging because it could also indicate the end of a friendship or the end of an association that might be, well, up for it. The second half of the month, we also have Mars entering Leo, which is going to be opening a lot of important doors for you in your sector of expansion, growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, elevation, and anything where big contracts or big level ups and propagation of, your work, what you're putting out there is concerned. With Mars in this part of your chart, you might also find that a lot of issues that have maybe been keeping you contained or trapped in a container or in a bubble are getting knocked down. And you may even find sometimes when the bubble comes down around you, it could feel like a bit of chaos, but Mars is also bringing you in a lot of extra money, a lot of extra resources to kind of make the transition that you need to make when that's going on. This could be going on around business circumstances, contract situations, legal situations, travel situations. It does not matter, but Mars is here to help. This is also a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to maybe even commence with the acceleration of some kind of plan or some kind of work that has been stalled out or waiting for its chance to finally begin because of Mars's boost. Mercury and Venus will also be moving into Aries at the back end of this month and bringing in a lot more sweetness and as well as a lot more romance into your personal life. Venus in the 5th house opens up what we could call like a honeymoon period. And whether this is a honeymoon period because of a new relationship or a honeymoon period that a relationship gets a chance to go through again or something brand new, right? That can happen. If you're in a relationship long term, you can have multiple honeymoon phases with that person. But whatever's happening here, this is going to be a very sweet end of April and going into May, but also Mercury helping to accelerate maybe developments with setting up a relationship for success with a mutual goal, something that maybe you and a partner have, something you've maybe set for later down the road, later on in the year. You're going to get a chance to fast forward and move up. And finally, we also have the sun and a new moon in Taurus activating your work sector, your reputation sector, as well as your standing amongst others and the services you provide to the world. And this can be a really cool launch kind of new moon transit for you, especially because new beginnings, new commitments, and fresh starts could also equate to new money, new work commitments, and some kind of new professional or community win that you get to celebrate, take part of, and be a part of yourself. And that's not just for the end of April, though. That's also going to be a big part of the first half of May. So that is what we've got for your April Sagittarius. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Selene, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, head on over to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all my Capricorn people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, just go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. That way we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions. And don't forget to like and subscribe because you do want to know when my other videos on this channel come out as well. So what's going on when it comes to your April? Well, the start of the month, we've got a really strong turn with this combo of the sun in Aries as well as Neptune newly arrived in Aries. And this is creating a powerful turning point in matters of home economy, family, and living situation that's kind of setting you up for some very important world shifts, revelations, and trajectory changes as we go into the rest of 2025. These two in this part of your chart are actually working really, really hard on helping to wash out a lot of situations that have been keeping maybe a certain cycle or a certain status or a certain norm longer than it should exist. Now, this could be washing out trouble, washing out obstacles, washing out anything that has been maybe keeping a situation stuck in a bad way, but also for a lot of you, helping to transform the trajectory of some kind of home or family plan into something that could be almost considered more dreamlike or dream come true versus maybe what you thought you had to work with or all you thought you had to work with. But because this is such a powerful move as well, you may be noticing some big transitions going around in other home and family spaces in order to keep up. We also have Mars in Cancer forming a beautiful counterbalance to Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces. And so throughout the course of the first half of the month, you may be noticing some important leads, help, or even breakthroughs going on in close one-on-one connections, partnerships, best friendships, alliances, and joint ventures that are helping you through things that have maybe been getting mucked up or thrown off course because of community involvements, misinformation, or crowds or circles that, for whatever reason, you've been kind of exposed to or moving in, whether this is happening at work, whether this is going on with personal business, the community in general, or whatever. Because Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces for you can sometimes bring up issues where you might need to be careful about sticking around the wrong sources of resources, information, help, people in general, crowds, peer pressure. Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde together can create stuckness and volatility at the same time. And luckily, with Mars in Cancer counterbalancing them, you're going to actually have a lot of solutions and a lot of big wins come your way through important connections and relationships that have nothing to do with whatever these other crowds are. You might be finding yourself getting set apart or making some important departures from spaces and even from crowds or contracts that would only keep you in a vicious cycle. And that might be something that is a pleasant surprise as we go through this next couple of weeks, probably something that's going to be affecting both on the job and off the job life, either all at the same time or in separate ways. Mercury and Venus will be turning direct this month, mid-month, which will allow for clearer days, while a lot of that stalled business or volatile business or all of that, whatever the reason or its sources, gets cleared out of your life as well. We also have a really strong full moon in Libra, which is going to be activating your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, promotions, and raises. And so a full moon in this part of the chart is all about culminations and graduations for you. And so the second half of April could come with some very pleasant surprises around some kind of big win, whether this is a big win that you are getting a chance to step up on the job front with, maybe a promotion or a raise opportunity. If you want to apply yourself for, you can have it, or something that is going to be opening up maybe a door or opening up a road that is going to take you to a brighter horizon in terms of your earning power or your career. The second half of the month, we've got Mars entering Leo, which is going to be a huge boon to you, especially when it comes to being able to tackle things like debts or any kind of shared responsibilities or shared resources. This is also a fantastic period for anyone who is looking to maybe boost what could be maybe the bedroom activity around partnerships, because Mars in this part of your chart always tends to make things a lot more carnal, a lot more hot, a lot more wild, a lot more attractive and vivacious. And you might be getting a chance to get a bit frisky as we go through the second half of the month, and maybe even find some new ways to explore and express that carnal friskiness with a special someone. Mars here is also going to be very helpful when it comes to knocking down some kind of barrier or barricade that has been standing between you and some kind of shared goal, a shared goal you may have with a teammate, a partner, a friend, or a family member, or even cut ties with something that maybe needs to be cut in order for a partnership or for a goal to actually be able to see the fruits of its labors. And so all in all, really, really good. Mercury and Venus will be entering Aries as well the second half of the month. And now that they're direct, they're behaving well, and you may be noticing a lot of really good boosts in terms of household economy, as well as maybe even some kind of new acceleration around some kind of goal that you may have for your home environment or a family plan, whether this is a move, whether this is an expansion, whether this is something that could maybe boost maybe, again, not only money in the household, but maybe getting away from an old setup that's not working for us anymore. And this will also be a really nice help in May as well. And finally, we also have the sun and a new moon lighting up Taurus, your 5th house of love, romance, and partnerships as we close up April and go into May as well. And this is going to be a time where some kind of new honeymoon phase is getting ready to kick off for you. A lot of you Capricorn people are going to be getting a chance to not only get really lovey-dovey, but some kind of new start for a relationship is also getting underway, because new moons are all about new beginnings, fresh starts, and new commitments. This could also indicate some kind of maybe new story or new adventure for a relationship to go down, or possibly even the birth of or the commencement of the creation of some kind of brand new creative work, something that is a complete departure from what you are used to, but something that is more up to date with who you are now. So that is what we've got for your astrology and April 2025. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Aquarius people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. That way we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions. And don't forget to like and subscribe, of course, so you know when all my other videos on this channel come out. So what is going on when it comes to your April? Well, at the start of the month, we've got Neptune newly moved into Aries and the Sun in Aries, lighting up your sector of collaborations, allies, third-party hookups, contracts, and communications. And over the course of especially the first half of this month, but pretty much for the foreseeable future, there's going to be a lot of world shifts and revelations coming to you through a lot more involvements and a lot more interference in your life in a good way. Usually when we have the sun alone in our 3rd house, we start to get a lot more people showing up for us. But with Neptune here in particular, this is about big trajectory changes as far as, you know, your personal roads, your personal goal, and your personal support system are concerned. Now, a lot of the time with this kind of combo, we can usually see some important link-ups, hookups, go-betweens, or even leads come our way that are going to enable us to make some kind of important leap that is going to allow us to step out of a cycle or step out of a norm or a status quo that we have been maybe caught up in, while also at the same time help to cut some kind of shortcut to a personal goal accomplishment. You are going to want to make sure people are allowed to interfere in your life in a good way when we have this kind of combination. Just keep in mind that this will be also upsetting the norm in other worlds around you. We also have Mars in Cancer forming a beautiful counterbalance to Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces. And this is very important because Venus and Mercury retrograde have been kind of wreaking havoc the last couple of months. Because when they're together, they have a tendency to create both stuckness and volatility at the same time. But with Mars in Cancer creating a counterbalance here, you might be coming into some kind of very important breakthrough or some kind of very important help that is helping you not only overcompensate or recover from any kind of recent financial or professional woes, but also at the same time get out of some kind of situation where maybe you have been forced to work for or work with the wrong people under the wrong conditions. Mars is also going to be very helpful here because Mars in this part of your chart is also eliminating a lot of things that have been continuing to drain you or continuing to siphon from you, whether it's money, whether it's energy, whether it's time, whether it's spending money, whatever. And that's a big thing because sometimes Venus and Mercury retrograde as a combo tend to bring latchers and drainers and all kinds of icky types of people and situations as well. But Mars will be of enormous assistance in getting away from all of that. We also have Mercury and Venus turning direct mid-month, which is going to bring for a lot of a cleanup experience in work and financial matters for you. especially if there have been situations where you've had to deal with duplicitous people, upsets or mistakes, or any kind of situation where it almost feels like we can't seem to lock anything down. And once we get through mid-month, a lot of that's going to start settling and opening up good things for you. But it is going to be a slow recovery process that will probably be more evident as we get into the later half of the month. Mid-month, we've got a full moon in Libra, creating culminations, transitions, and chapter changes that are going to be lighting up your sector of expansion, growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, and proliferation. And a lot of the times when we have a full moon here, we are getting a chance to end some kind of agreement, setup, contract, or maybe let's just say arrangement that has been keeping us, or keeping something that is of great value to us, trapped in a container. This full moon could open up the door for some important moves or travel opportunities later on in the year, or maybe even help you to move yourself into the limelight if you have been in a space where maybe you are looking to draw more attention, support, or awareness to yourself or something that you care about, but have not been able to really get it. And so there is going to be a spotlight on you in a very good way because of this moon as well, the second half of April. We'll also have Mars entering Leo in the second half of April, your seventh house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections. And this is a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to break through some kind of maybe barrier to accomplishing a joint partnership or relationship goal. This can be a very, very cool period for you, because if you have been in a space where maybe you and a partner, whether it's a business partner, a romantic partner, or a best friend, have been trying to accomplish something together but have stalled out or have been caught in a waiting period, Mars is like, no, here's a battering ram, let's get moving. But also at the same time bringing in opportunities to delve into a stronger, deeper friendship with our partners of all kinds, right? Making the business partner a member of the family, getting closer to our BFFs, drawing in more people into our lives to become close personal connections, as well as also becoming better friends with romantic partners, because that's what gives relationships longevity, right? We've got to be able to be friends. We don't just want to be adults playing a sophisticated game of house like kids. And so every once in a while, we got to be able to do that. And with Mars in this part of your chart, that's exactly what you're going to be able to do. And you may also notice some very strong barriers to intimacy or closeness, or again, maybe even blocks to attaining the partnerships that you want or having partnerships run the way you want, also getting knocked down by Mars. We also have Venus and Mercury entering Aries in the second half of the month, and you're going to be finding that a lot of help is coming your way when it comes to, again, hookups, kind of like what we saw with Neptune and the Sun. Venus in the third house is all about gifts being handed off to you. Gifts, referrals, people doing things on your behalf, setting things up for you. And you're going to also be enjoying that extra sense of good interference in your life. Make sure with Mercury there as well, however, you are ready to be responsive, engaged, and of course playing your part. We don't want to snooze or just wait around when it comes to this kind of astrology, because Mercury and Venus in the third house is also about speeding up progress out of a situation that we should be growing out of anyway, and all of the money and the people will be there if we play our part. Finally, we've got the Sun moving on into Taurus and a new moon in Taurus as well at the end of this month, which is highlighting not only the end of April, but also the beginning of May. And with these two together, we actually have some kind of important new beginning, commitment, or fresh start happening on the home front for you. Now, this could be going on with family, or this could be going on with home economy, home business, it doesn't matter. But things are becoming a lot more secure, peaceful, calm, and wealthy as we step into May. So that is what we've got for you, Aquarius. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Blessed be all of my Pisces people out there, sun, moon, and rising. It's time to have a look and see just what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2025. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. That way we can look at your personal chart and your personal questions. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when all my other videos on this channel come out. So what's going on when it comes to your April? The first half of the month, we've got Neptune and the Sun together in Aries. Neptune is a new arrival here, which is opening up a new 14-year story. And throughout the course of April, a lot of really important world shifts and trajectory changes are getting washed into your life through your income and employment sector. When we have the Sun and Neptune together here, this is a very important month because a lot of you are going to find that atmospherically and environmentally, when it comes to your work, your job, and your financial affairs, things are getting a chance to move on up, but there are a lot of things that have got to move on out. A lot of the times with Neptune and the Sun together, we can see a very intense flow, something that is going to likely be maneuvering you through all kinds of new courses into things that are going to set you up for a much more financially prosperous life, but you will have to be ready to adjust from maybe some plans, trajectories that you've set for later this year, or likely even flow away from the road you've come down to this point when it comes to work or maybe some financial plans. Whatever the case is, be ready to ride the wave gracefully and intelligently, because this can be something that could be really, really good for you. But for people who are stuck in their ways, or, the kinds that just don't keep up with changing times, it could be a different story. Mars is also going to be going hard at work in a way where it could be a very important counterbalance to other challenges that you might be dealing with walking into April. Mars is in your 5th house of love, romance, but also creative pursuits, creative enterprises, personal business enterprises, and important collaborations. And with Mars forming a counterbalance to Venus and Mercury retrograde in your sign, we're seeing an opportunity for your personal life to do some really important work when it comes to helping you accomplish some personal goals, personal aspirations, or personal achievements that have become wrapped up, blocked up, or trapped in some kind of stuckness or volatility. See, Mars is coming in to kind of challenge where Mercury and Venus retrograde have been bringing stuckness and volatility into your world. Now, this could come through the help of a romantic partner, or possibly a new creative collaborator, or maybe an existing romantic partner, an existing love interest, or an existing collaborator really steps into a new kind of form or some kind of new mode and starts to get a lot more active in helping you to eliminate things that keep you tied to the wrong spaces, tied to the wrong people, or tied to the wrong roads. And what happens with Mars here is that this release is the counterbalance, and there could also be some kind of brand new story getting unfolded from this as well. Now, Mercury and Venus will be turning direct this month, which is actually really good, and so easing off some of the feelings of stuckness and volatility, allowing for clearer days. But this will also be a time where you'll notice a lot of stalled or overdue turnovers in your life are also starting to happen. All the while, Mars in Cancer is still helping to knock down walls and barriers to having maybe the personal life set up, but also the creative life set up that you've always wanted to have. For the mid-month event, we've got a full moon in Libra, which is your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, as well as intimacy. And this full moon is all about a big release of a block, a burden, or an anchor, especially something that has been a problem or a source of trouble or a source of soreness as far as a financial or debt or investment related matter is concerned. With a full moon in this part of your chart, this could be a great weight off your back coming in as we go through the second half of April. Second half of the month as well is also boosted by Mars moving on into Leo, which is your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, community standing, the people you serve, and how you serve your people. And when we have Mars go into this part of our chart, we're getting a chance to make some really important competitive moves around the office, but also in our field in general. This can also be a time where you may notice a big transformation around the kind of work that you do, the people that you're serving with, or again, your client and customer base. Money is coming in a very strong way, but from new sources and from new assignments, new projects, new schedules. And it can be a time that forces us to maybe, again, let go of some plans that maybe we had set for the month of April, but also at the same time, the releasing of those plans is also bringing in a really good score. And that's only made doubly sure by Mercury and Venus moving into Aries together shortly afterwards. And this is going to be a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to also see some fast wealth or some fast boosts to your earning power as well. Because Venus likes to bring in easy money, easy material comfort, and maybe even give you a bit of the office favorite or the market favorite treatment. And Mercury is also opening up opportunities for some important moves, maneuvers, and transfers if you'll want them. And finally, we've got the Sun in Taurus at the end of the month, followed by a new moon in Taurus at the end of the month. And this is all about new beginnings, commitments, and fresh starts that are coming to you through some kind of link up, some kind of hookup, or unification with either an ally or somebody that is going to be offering some good interference in your life. Now, this could be a handoff of some kind. This could be a very important joining of forces kind of moment, or possibly some kind of agreement or commitment getting underway as we go into early May that is also going to enable you to change a life lane that you have been in. And this could be something that also maybe gives you a chance at some kind of new beginning or fresh start in your life that has been overdue. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, son of Celine, and should you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.